Hello everybody, this is R from DJR Union, and Demon Slayer is finally on the rise. And what better way to start this off than do a deck profile on Tengen and his 3 wives. Hello everybody, now before we continue on with the video, I just want to go over this nice little website called EXPerts. For those of you who don't know, EXPerts is the website where you're able to come to view additional information for your favorite TCG card game. In our case, Union Arena. It has a lot of unique features, which includes the Content Hub, where you're able to view videos created by your favorite YouTubers, the public deck list, where you're able to view decks created by people all across the world, as well as my personal favorite, the Deck Builder, where you're able to select your favorite IP and then build a completely customized decks for all the cards listed below. So, without wasting any more time, let's continue on with the video. So starting off our deck profile, we are going to be playing 4 of the zero cost Tengens. As you know, Tengen is the main concept of this deck, and of course we want to be playing 4 of them so that way we can lead up to our other plays as well as lead up to our raid Tengens later on during the match. The next card on our list is going to be the zero cost Sumas, aka one of Tengen's 3 wives. Now, the main reason we want to play her is not only because of the fact that she is a zero cost, but also because of her affinity, which is Tengen Wife, which is going to be extremely important when we move on into our later plays as well as our later cards. Finishing off our zero cost, we're going to be playing 4 Sumikos. Now, unlike Suma, which is a Tengen Wife affinity, Sumiko is of the Disguise affinity. Another key factor that's going to play when we go into our later plays, as well as we're going to be introducing some of our later cards. And that's the case, we play 4 of them. Now, moving into our 1-drops, we're going to be playing 4 of the 1-drop Makios. Now, other than the fact that she is also another one of Tengen's wives and is of the Tengen Wife affinity, the main reason we want to play her as a 4 of is because of her ability, which reads that during our turn, she gets an additional 500 BP, which is pretty good, especially when we're trying to be super aggressive as much as possible in the early game. Next on our 1-drops, we have Zenko. Now, the same thing as Sumiko, Zenko is of the Disguise affinity, and the reason we want to play 2 of them is because of their ability is that when they're played, I'm able to look at the top portion of my deck or the top card of my deck and decide whether to keep it on top or to put it on the bottom. It's very good and very important when you're trying to set up for your big play to try to close out the match as quickly as possible. Now, to finish off our 1-drops, we're going to be playing 3 Tasties. Now, I like running Tasty as a 3 of, mainly because of the fact that 1, it's a trigger card that allows us to draw a card if it's in our life, and 2, it allows us to draw 2 cards from our deck, as well as placing 1 card into the sideline. A really good card to have set up for our big plays later on. Now moving into our 2-drops, we're going to be playing Tengen's 3rd wife, Hinatsuru. Now, I like playing Hinatsuru mainly because of the fact that she has a nice ability that when she's sidelined, I can take a Tengen card from my sideline and add it directly back to my hand. This becomes extremely important when you come into a situation where you're not able to close out the match as quickly as possible and your opponent is able to take care of your big Tengen plays. That way you can just put her on the front line, have her tank a hit, so that way you can recycle one of your Tengens to try to reset and redo your aggressive plays. Finishing up our 2-drops, we have Tanjiro. Now, I played Tanjiro over the Bento card, mainly because of the fact that 1, Tanjiro is a body with 2500 BP, but also, he's also a body that can sit on the back line, and I can just tap him to be able to buff my frontline characters, or even my backline characters to set up and to give them that additional BP to be as aggressive as possible with my plays. Now we have the 3-drops, and with that, we are playing Inoku. Now, I like playing Inoku as a 4 of because 1, he has step, 2, they generate 2 energy, and 3, they got 3k BP. So this is another good and another key combo piece to not only 1, be able to generate energy quickly to be able to go into your plays, but 2, to also be aggressive with them because of the 3k BP that they display. Next on our 3-drops, we're going to be playing the 3 energy cost Tengen. Now, we're playing him as a 4 of mainly because of the fact that 1, he's a color trigger, so of course we want to play him as a 4 of, but 2, he also has the ability that when he's played, you're able to look at the top 5 cards from your deck and able to add a Disguise affinity or a Tengen Wife affinity card from among them to your hand. And as you know me, I love being able to dig into my deck to find the key pieces I need to set up for my plays and close out that match. And that's the case, we won 4 of him. Next, we're going to be playing 4 copies
of sound breathing, 5th form, stream performance. Now, of course, this is your special trigger in the deck, so obviously this is going to be your kill card, but also I feel as though this kill card is extremely powerful. I may even go on and say that this card is more powerful than Thunder Breathing, 1st form, Thunderclap, and Flash, mainly because of the fact that with this card, you're able to kill an enemy on your opponent's field whose BP is equal to the amount of Disguise, Tengen Wives, and Tengen affinity cards that are on your field. So you can have your board completely flooded with these affinity cards or with the Tengen cards and be able to kill a character with that's up to as 800 BP. And to me, that's extremely powerful, especially with this type of deck where you're going to be being super aggressive and placing and flooding your board with as many cards as possible. And to finish off our 3 cards, we are playing 4 copies of Total Concentration Breathing. This is your final. This is your restand AP as always, and continue to going forward until this game eventually dies, which who knows when that happens. You play 4. If you are not playing 4, stop playing this game. Reevaluate what you are doing, because you always play 4. Now we have our 4 drops. And to start this off, we are playing the 4 drop, 1 and action point, Rengoku. Now, I personally like playing this card not only because of the fact that it's a buff trigger, but also because it also has Nullify Impact, it's a 4K body, and it protects your other characters from being targeted by snipe by freaking Kurapika. Yeah, Kurapika. Yeah, you heard me say it. Screw that deck. That deck is trash. This card protects you from freaking Kurapika, and that's why I like it. Not only that, but also when it's sidelined, you can also take one of your other characters on your field and buff it by 1k BP. So it's a very good card to not only protect yourself, but also to buff one of your other characters to further protect yourself. I also extending their game so that way you don't lose over some nonsense. And also, it protects against Kurapika, because screw that deck. Now we get to go into one of our major cards, which is the 4 energy, 2 action point, Tengen. Now, do not sleep on this card. This card is one of the key factors in this deck, if not the keyest factor in this deck, because this card is what's going to enable a lot of your aggressive plays as early as turn 3 or turn 4. Okay, because the reason being, you want to play him. He comes into the field set to active, but also when you attack with him, you're able to take one of your Tengen Wife affinity cards that is on your front line and swap it with either a Tengen or a Disguise affinity card that's on your back line. So you just swing with him, take one of your Disguise Wives, swap it with a card on your back line after you, of course, swung with them, of course, and you swing in again, so that way you can get as much as like 5 attacks or even 6 attacks in, depending on how many Tengens you have onto the field. So, and because of that, this is an extremely important card. I like playing him as a 3 of because I feel still playing him as a 4 of just too much for 2 energy. I mean for 2 action points, but 3 seems to be the prime ratio for this card. And lastly, you see him all throughout the deck profile. The man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. We have the Raid Tengen. Now, this Raid Tengen, I was roasting it low-key in the beginning, but after actually playing with him, especially with this Tengen, I realized that this card is a lot more powerful than I was giving credit for. And for what it does, when it's played, it gets double attack. So you have a 4K beater that has double attack, which is already really good because majority of the double attackers we have in the game currently, which is like Little Miss Useless Miwa or Sanami, they're only 2K BP for double attack. This is a 4K beater with double attack, so immediately you're going to be on that aggressive play, swinging twice with a 4K beater. And your opponent has to be hit with that pressure and figure out what to do against it. And not only that, but if you pair him up with this Tengen right here, which of course, as I mentioned earlier, you're not only able to swap with your Disguise and your Wife affinity card, but you can also swap with Tengen cards as well. So imagine you raid this card on your back line, your front line is full of Tengen Wife affinities and this Tengen right here, and you swing with one of your wives, then you swing with this card, you swap it with this just rated Tengen, and now this Tengen is swinging for 2 more times with double attack. That's a 6 attack play on your turn. And to me, that's really good, that's really broken, and that's exactly what you need to do to close out these games as quickly as possible. Because what we all know, what this red like to do, it likes to rush down your opponent. And there you have it. Stay tuned because we have plenty more Demon Slayer content for you guys to enjoy. Also, if you want to check out any of our older deck profiles, check the description down below to our page over on EXperts. That way you can see all the deck profiles that we made in the past. Other than that, I've been R from DJR Union, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day.